Today I'm going to talk about this compliance and leadership program that we are currently running in Statoil. And I will tell you a little bit about the background here. And here is, of course, the background on why we are running it. We had a lot of serious accidents in 2007 and 2008, especially the Monster cracker incident. The whole refinery was on its way like they did in Texas. Same thing, Statfjord shaft, we had also that oil spill. Even my grandmother my mother tried to get worried about what kind of company I was working in here. We got so much bad news, and it was a tough time for all of us in Statoil to have so much negative publicity. So, but it wasn't to say it was bad all the time, but the variation was too big. And of course, you see, we want to have precision and quality and efficiency in all we are doing. And of course, we want to be there. But when this happened, I was also the manager of the operational training center in Statoil. And I saw we might have a good tool to work it out. What we have here is actually a small, simple figure what's showing what to be done and what we need to do as a leader to get it done. Often, so the initiative that I took was that I was saying, this is not a quick fix. This will take time. This is a cultural change. And it's about transferring training and training and training into behavior that is sustainable. That's what this is all about, and this takes time. Usually during these times, we have a training session one day, and then we expect somebody to do something. And most companies use 87% of their training and things to change behavior. They use that one-day session. 87%. 7% is used by getting the information and getting internal information, and 7% is the following up. What's actually giving change in behavior is the first reaction. What information do you get in front? 25% of that. And then for this one-day training session that we are sitting here, that should give some business impact, but because that's what we all talk about, it's business impact. And in this case, it's increased safety, more precision, and more efficient operation. And the other part is 50% is follow-up, coaching and follow-up after this kind of training session. What this is all about here is actually, it's common. On what you have here on the left side is Six Sigma, continuous improving loop, whatever you say. It's activity, identifying risk, requirement, and the method, and then you have the team assessment and execute, and then you have the learning improvement, like debrief, much like what Bru had earlier here. And then the question is, of course, what do we do to enable the people to behave like that? Get this behavior like you was talking about in last session. What do we do as a leader? Because the key is the leadership. And then it's three important roles in that leadership. Leadership is a lot more, but to enable people is how do you communicate, how do you behave as a role model, and how much do you coach your people so they do that when you are not there. I was the offshore installation manager on Brage. We had a tough tail end challenge, and so we took all the middle manager, this maintenance supervisor and everything, and we took that away, and every 80 person was reporting to me. And that sounds to be very tough. The construction manager was also from these companies that was out there. And what the only way that I could survive was that I was very clearly what the standard for a job to be done. So that people are doing that without you being there. That's what all leadership is about. What people are doing when you are not there. That's what leadership is about. A little bit more about this program here. And actually, this is a program of how we are running a business. This is all about. And we have our management system. This is a boring figure that most of you have seen. But that is actually, when we are talking about compliance, is compliance about our whole management system. And our management system has three purposes. It's one, to ensure to comply formal external requirements. That's the typical definition. Follow rules and don't do anything, just follow the rules. That's a kind of stupid, and often we see that as compliance is making people stupid, and that's how people perceive that word. But here is how we in Statoil say our management system is drive business, performance, deliver results, and fast, precise execution, and continuously learning. And incorporate our value, and so on. So when we have been talking about compliance here, that's the definition of our compliance. It's not follow rules and shut up, don't think. That's important. So actually we talk about having control, gain learning, and the leadership to get control and learning. That's what this is all about. So actually it's about how we are running our business. And there you can see these three keywords into this module. And it's all about performance. This program started in fall 2008. And it had the change in behavior that we was after is that people should follow this pattern of behavior that these keywords gives, and you should get more learning. So this was one more increased following this pattern of behavior. They should more often think about their leadership, of how they are enabling people to work according to this pattern of behavior. And the next part, the third one, was that they should train on ordinary activity that was supposed to happen tomorrow. We ran through, this was a top-down training, and we was running through from the top, all the way from Helgelund and down to the platform organization and the line manager out there. We was coming to last summer. We was checking out, of course. Did it actually happen, any change in behavior? We check out with guys, an electrician, or one guy that was out on the platform, a couple of new guys that they're delivering. Has something happened? Very little. And I got in frustration mode last summer. Nothing happened as far as I saw. A little bit, but not much. No change in behavior did we actually observe. So what did we do there? We went in there and looking into a lot of literature, and we had a meeting with many people, and one expert on change, he asked me these two simple questions. Do everybody realize how big change this is? Do everybody realize? Because what we see here is actually many people in a group, because we are talking about when a group of people doing an activity, how is the pattern of behavior? And what we see is many just that get a almost common understanding of what the result and activity and the risk, and then they jump a little bit team assessment, and then they execute. And I don't think that's pretty normal for many people. So actually, it is a big change. That was our experience. And the next question, this expert on change say, do we have the right sense of urgency to drive this change through? And I had to go into this and see if that was true. We also saw that they found, even if these keywords is simple and easy, they found out, people found it difficult. Even if you've been talking about risk here, later here, and they felt it was difficult. And another thing, even if we've been in this program saying compliance is leadership, learning, and comply to rules and regulation, this complete pattern of behavior, people felt compliance, they don't get very motivated and inspired of that word. So what we did there is we took a thinking about that, and I will tell you a little bit later on, but what we say here, you must set the standard and get this standard more specific. And that's what we did here, is an activity. What is that? What kind of behavior do we see when people is going to do activity tomorrow? Of course, they have to understand what the activity is, what the result of the activity, and they have to identify, understand risk or input to control every activity. Next part is requirement and method. That's actually our company's best known method. We have 30,000 people, employees. That's the best knowledge for the requirement is that. And then, of course, it's the team assessment. Brief is another word for that. How good is that? Team assessments in the individual and the team's knowledge. And how do you get that? You have to talk, and it's quality about that. Execute, of course, you have to do the execution, but of course you have to continuously risk evaluation. And then, of course, to stop, think when small changes occur is critical to avoid losses. And then learning experience, debrief is another word for that. Get quality in this. That is this pattern of behavior that we are after, and we want to do it on every activity if we are going to be in world class. And if we do it good with this debrief, of course, we get improvement in every activity. And actually, that's the only way to be in world class, to get continuously improvement. What we did here is we went out to the management groups after the summertime, and they had to explain what, using these keywords here and saying, please give us the observable behavior when you want to give a group of people that's going to do a job tomorrow an A, the top standard. The gold standard is what many says. And they had to draw this pattern of behavior. I have 50 these types of pattern of behavior, what this leadership group has done, to say, what is an A? If I'm going to work for you as a leader, this leader group, I'm an employee, what do I do if you were going to give me an A? And that's where we get that A standard from. It's a word that we have seen. It's working very well. It's much more motivating and inspiring than compliance. So it's A standard for our performance. And here is what we have put together and edited together. We create a common understanding of the task, we define a desired outcome and result, we identify and understand the risk. And here is understanding of the risk. That's very important. To understand the risk, that the team has a good understanding of the risk. I can go through this, but you have these numbers here, and it's how they draw this pattern of behavior, what we are actually after. And actually, this left side is it's a complete set of behavior that we already know about. And what people say, this is nothing new. We have to just systematically do it more. And you can see here, it's an action pattern of behavior that describes how we plan, execute, and evaluate a specific activity or job when we are on our best. Draw how we do it when we are on the best, and A standard. And actually what people also say is action pattern describes a whole already known methods, concept as compliance, risk assessment, before debrief, open safety conversation, tattoo, comrade check, buddy check, risk evaluation, after action review, transfer of experience are incorporated. And the action is this pattern of action is called an A standard, because we are drawing how people is doing when they are doing a good job. And that's a positive way of looking at it, instead of going in there and yelling when they are doing something wrong. Because that's actually, when I look into myself as an offshore installation manager, most of the time I've used my leadership is when I go down here and kick asses if somebody has done something wrong. That's where I have been. Instead of going in here, helping people doing a good job in the beginning, and be close as a coach through this pattern of behavior. And we have to actually change this, how we are working actually as a leaders. And I ask people, after they have drawn this pattern of behavior, I ask this leadership group, who is this a change for? And of course somebody says, but not very often, they say it's the employees, it's a big change. But then I say, are you really sure of that? Are you really sure of that? And then of course everybody say, this is a big change for us as a leader. We have to change our way we are doing things. We have to be together with the people when they're doing the job, the complete in the beginning of the job. And then you can see much specific how you can coach them. And our experience so far is that we have not been drawing this complete pattern of behavior. We are talking about risk as one specific discipline. We are talking about compliance as another specific subject, and not drawing the whole complete pattern of behavior. And leadership is how we enable people to do the job and evaluate the best possible way. And then we are talking about the specific job that's going to be done tomorrow. It's not all that other leadership. Enabling leadership is communicating what an A standard is through words and acts, and then coach and guide the individual so she can accomplish an A. And here's a challenge for you. A leader should never give up, or it's a challenge for us, should never go up before everybody gets an A for the job they're going to do tomorrow. So here is how we say about this leadership. It's how we communicate this pattern of behavior, how we use the same pattern of behavior when we do our own work, and how we coach them. Are we together with them from the beginning? Do we help them to get the common understanding of what the activity is and the final result, what the risk, how do we coach them so they get the common picture of the risk assessment? This is how we go through all this there. But usually we have been here. And here is what when we are talking about what is this enabling leadership. It's, of course, most, we have been into 50 leadership groups, but it's kind of an extract of what they are saying. I'm not going through everything, but here is what they say. But I think the most important part of it is this one here. We encourage individuals through positive feedback on the work performed. Catch somebody doing something right. I think that's the most important part of our leadership. We are much too often on the negative part and kicking somebody that has done something wrong. Here is how we are working now. This is a simple method. We just started with this. I had this summer frustration, and then we started in October, November, December. We have been into all group on all platform organization on the Norwegian continental shelf, where they define their own standard. It's important that they have to go through this defining how they look upon an A standard pattern of behavior, because that makes them to have an ownership of this picture of when the people doing a good job. After they have done that, they go out and they tell people how this is. They start observing one specific activity that's going to be happening tomorrow, and then they identify what the gap is between that and the A standard. Of course, many leaders all at that time start enabling the team to work according to that. And then the next day, they come back and reporting this gap of there, and then they coach, go out, say, what are the activity tomorrow that's important for you? Yes, I take that one. We are going to make the test separator ready for maintenance. Go out, deliver that activity according to A standard, enabling your people to do that. That's day 2. Then they come back, and then they talk in the leadership group. What kind of leadership acts did you do to get your people to deliver a A standard activity? And then they kind of reflect on the very concrete leadership acts, what they've done. After that, they follow on, go through these acts, and then it's just going on, and it's just a matter of leadership and work, hard work. So usually we had this fitness McDonald here. Is he still around here? I say this is the same as fitness. Of course you can go down in weight, and you can get some pills, and you can get everything, and so on. But we know what is working. It's healthy food, fitness, and sleep, and what he say. And it's hard work. That's the same thing with here. It's hard work. But you have to start. And this picture of this A standard pattern of behavior likes people. And actually the feedback now is that people out there say, oh, this is a well, actually, somebody said that this is the best thing that happened started for a long time. So it was one union member that said that. Because what he says is, we have drawn this pattern of behavior. So actually, they know how to do that. And it's easier for the leaders to catch somebody doing something right. Because we want to be catch doing something right, everybody. We are easy. Is there any question?
Well, I think I have one actually. It's easy to see, Yngve, that you have put a lot of effort into this. It's impressive, I think, and it's very well structured. And I do think it's well in line with a lot of the stuff that we have seen earlier today. Just one thing I'm a little bit curious about. Are there any business impact already now in Statoil after you implement this?
Of course, that was my frustration summer, because I want to see business impact on this. If I don't want to do anything that doesn't give business impact. And of course, I said the great change in behavior didn't happen with this one-day session. And actually, this is a 4-year program. So the follow-up there, what we have done here, they started in November, December to establish this A standard pattern of behavior on each platform. So the change has just started. But now when I go to a football soccer tournament, big with 2,000 kids, then one guy from start to say, well, I've used the A standard pattern here too, he says. So something is happening out there, and people start, we meet people on the plane, and people talks about this A standard pattern of behavior.